What the fuck going on, man? Y'all already know who it is, man. It's your boy Boogie Valid, and this is Valid TV. I told y'all that our interview was gonna come, and guess what? Guess who I'm with today? Talk to him, Brody.
What's up, Paul? Y'all, you know, EB100, man. I brought him to the projects, man. I tell you, asked me where I want to do it at. You know what I'm saying? I had to come in the projects, come where it all started at and shit, so.
Feel me?
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna vibe, we're gonna talk.
Where better than to do the interview at than in the hood, you feel me? So look, man, let's start this shit off right off rip. For the people who might not know the full story, who is EB100 and where you come from?
So EB100, let me just say EB, you know what I'm saying?
All
EB100 kind of like artist, but EB who I am, you know what I'm saying? I come from where you seeing at, we're from the bricks. I was born and, you know, bred and, you know, everything about me, you know, my bop, my, you know, everything, my aura, everything came from here, so this where it all started, this where it began, man.
That's dope, that's dope. You been in the bricks since you was 9. What was life like for you growing up over here?
Life was crazy, especially back then. Like in those days where like you ain't had the cameras, you ain't had you know what I'm saying? It was really like, you know what I'm saying? It was a different type of war zone, but
you could run around a little more free.
It wasn't just the bad, man. You know what I'm saying? I met great people along the way. You know, some that ain't here, some that's still with us. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like I said, it made me who I am. So I wouldn't trade it for the world, for real, for real.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Your mother moved away for a while because of the violence going on around you at that age. Did you understand why she wanted you out of here?
Well, she moved me away. Yeah, she was getting, you know, knocks at the door, police all times of night, talking about I'm into this, I'm into that. You know what I'm saying? I'm being shot at. They think I'm, you know, all this, you know, all that type of shit.
Typical hood shit.
You know, she was kind of a little fair for that, you know, my well-being and, you know, try to give me a better chance in life, which I respect.
Well, that's a mother should.
Yeah.
All right, so you ended up living in California and Buffalo. How different was life outside Syracuse?
It was different. You get to see more, you know, different people, like the way they live, you know, their way of life, the things they eat. There's everything, you know, different culture. Yeah. So, you know, I got a chance to experience that. So, you know, that was dope. You feel me?
Did you ever get a culture shock living out there?
Yeah. In a sense, yeah, I did. I remember we used to, especially when I was living in San Diego, we used to walk, you know, straight, like, I think Mexico was like 15 minutes, and we used to just walk going through there and shit like that, and I used to just like...
Oh, that's fire.
So, yeah, it was different, man, but I still was me there, so...
That's what's up.
And I was in the sports, so, you know, I was a star athlete out there type shit, so...
Oh, word?
Yeah, I was actually going to the middle school that Reggie Bush was going to the high school at the same time. He was going to Helix High School, and, you know, I was going to the middle, so I used to go to all his high school football games, and I used to tell my people back home, my brother and them, like, yo, this nigga Reggie Bush, man, this nigga, you know what I'm saying? And look.
That's what's up, that's what's up. It would have been dope if I'd have turned out friends, keep it real.
Yeah.
Yo, before everything else, you were actually a serious athlete. How far did you think basketball or football could have taken you?
That was my first love, man. I think I could have went, you know, I had, you know, scouts and, you know, college, you know, coaches and recruitment coming to see me, especially when I was in Buffalo, so.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, hell yeah. So
so you was beastie.
Yeah, I was that for real. I wasn't just, you know, play with it. That's something I really wanted to do, but I was just, you know, in the streets already. You know, I went out there to, you know, change, and, you know, by the time I came back from a little break, and, you know, I got shot up and all that type of shit, so.
Okay. Looking back, do you ever wonder how different your life would have been if sports stayed the main focus?
All the time, man. Every day I think about it, like, and it ain't nothing bad that I regret, you know what I'm saying, in a sense. And it's things I wish I could take back, and it's things people I wish I had back too, but in a sense, like, I am who I am, but I absolutely know if I would have stayed the sports route, you know, I'd have been something for real, you know what I'm saying? Something where I ain't have to go through the shit I got to go through to be where I'm at now. So
that's a fact. All right. Let's talk about when your life took a turn. You were only 15 the first time you got shot. How much did something like that change you at that age?
Man, you gotta understand, like, 15 years old, like, it was the responsibility of now, like a 19, 20-year-old, 21-year-old, honestly. So, you know, I was already, like, in it for real. So, you know, things like that happening was, you know, it could have happened any day the way I was living, but, you know what I'm saying, that wake you up, man. It's real, man. So you can lose your life anytime with those, so, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You survived being shot 4 different times. Do you ever think there's a reason you made it through all of that?
Yeah, man, I got shot 2 different occasions, but you know, it total to be, you know, being 4 times. But yeah, man, like I thank God, because like I said, you know, how many people got shot once and ain't here? You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely, you know, I feel like it's a purpose for it. So yeah, thank God for that, man.
You wanna tell the story how you got shot, or?
Just, you know, I was a young nigga. I was, you know, hanging out. Niggas came through, did what they did. You know what I'm saying? And
type shit.
You know.
Okay.
I'm gonna just leave it there.
Long story short, type shit. All right. You went from being a standout athlete to getting deeper into the streets. When do you feel like things started going left?
Like I said, I was already in the street when I came back. I went to Buffalo. I think I did some little juvenile time. And part of my conditional release, I had to leave the city of Syracuse for like a year. That's when I actually went to Buffalo. I think that was 2004.
Okay.
And you know, I went out there. I was, you know, Mr. Buffalo, all Western New York, all this, you know.
Yeah, you was buzzing out there. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. So when that happened, and like I had came back for a break, my older brother, you know, Rady Kids, God bless, who ended up passing away. You know, at the time he came, you know, to one of my games. He telling me what he got going on here. That bro, I need you. You know, that type of shit. You know, Big Bro's, you know, he's a big influence in my life. So, you know what I'm saying, that's something you know, bro saying, let's do it. So, you know, I came back for a break, long story short. Like I told you, that's one of the times I had got shot, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm back in Syracuse, you know, I left Buffalo, left the sports, left all that. And, you know, I'm back in the streets. And, you know, from there, it just went downhill for real. So,
Okay. By 19, you were fighting a murder charge. What was your mindset, knowing your whole life could have basically been over right there?
Like, it's kind of like when people, you know, give you the vision of like when they get shot and they light flash before their eyes. You know, it's kind of like, in a sense, one thing to talk about like if this was to happen, what I'd do and what it would. You know, my mindset was always, you know, real mindset. I'm just talking about the emotions that come with it. You know, being able to see their mama on them visits, and you know, you can't leave with her. You know, you know, probably never leave with her again. You feel me?
How that made you feel?
It made me feel crazy, man. It made me feel like if I was to get a chance, you know, I promised her, you know, my pops before he passed away that, you know, I'd come out there. I started doing music actually in jail. So when I started, you know, honing my craft, I was still fighting my, you know, my murder charge and stuff. But my father ended up passing away, and you know, by the time he came, I ended up beating it, you know, and whatever. So, you know, I came home and wanted to keep that promise. So that's what's more to me than anything. Now I got a daughter now, so it's even added on to the, you know, stay out the street, stay on the right path type shit. So, you know, that kind of was my motivation, man. The promise I made to my mom, shit.
That's dope, man. Don't break that, man. You eventually got acquitted of that charge.
Yeah.
What do you remember about the moment you found out you were coming out the other side of it?
It was probably like the second best feeling to seeing my baby boy. I don't know, but nah, man. Shout out to Rel, man. That was my co-defendant on my little bro, man. And you know, he did the ultimate, you know, the really shit, the sacrifice of, you know, taking that and freeing the nigga. So it was we was there.
Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you,
bro, forever. Like, no matter, you know, what we go through, no matter what, you know, I could probably not. You know, we could be at heated, you know, arguments or whatever. Like, that's something that always stick with me, and I always have appreciation for that, because he the reason I'm even out here to, you know, I'm sitting here with you. So
that's a fact.
Yeah, for real. Shout out Ruger though, man.
Shout out Ruger. Brody, you still end up serving 11 and a half years. What's something about doing that much time that people on the outside would never understand?
Like, and then it's like every day is kind of repetitive. You know what I'm saying? You kind of get in a routine. That's what you have to, in order for the time to kind of go by. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's just, you know, all the year passed me by. 9, 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, you know, all the way up into 20 when I came home. And it's, you know, I went away. I was a young kid. I was 19. You feel me? So I came home, you know, 31, you know, so I went away for a little while, and I got a chance I grew up there. So my way of, you know, conducting myself as an adult is, you know, the things I have had to deal with on a everyday basis, you know what I'm saying? Because prison real, bro, especially the federal penitentiary. And I was in the max, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I was dealing with it at its highest peak. So, yeah, man, I'm 11 is real. I did it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here now, man. I got through it, like I said. And you know, I did it the right way. You know, that's why I get the type of love and respect I get. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. You know, with
a lot of motherfuckers won't be able to do no damn 11 shit. It's a lot of motherfuckers can't do 5 right now.
Exactly. Not just even going through doing the time, because for the first 3.5, you know, years, I was facing the murder charge, and I'm never knowing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm facing a federal murder charge. You know, who really comes out the feds with that? So my mind, and I'm a real nigga. So, you know, it's only really one way out to me.
It's really only a certain.
If it ain't gonna be by God, so you know what I'm saying.
That's a fact, and there's only a handful of niggas that can say they beat the feds, honestly.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
All right, gang. So like you said, you went in at 19 and came home at 31. Was it hard accepting how much life had passed while you were gone?
Hell yeah. When I went in, it was like razor phones. It wasn't no Facebook. It wasn't no Instagram. So none of that. Social media. None of that. It was like, you know what I'm saying? It was like I said. It was no cameras. It was that era. The no camera era, I call it. But you know, I had to come out here and get used to a whole different way of life. So. And people don't understand that significance of, you know, being an artist. And you may hear dudes that, you know, from 20 years ago that was doing music, and, you know, they kind of still got the same type of draw with them and never really changed with the times. That takes a, you know, different type of artist itself, man. And, you know, I ain't had a practice that they had.
Yeah, that's
I ain't had the fan base of that. I really had to come and reinvent myself. I was EB known for a whole different, you know, type of shit. So that was a lot within itself, but I did it, man, because you stuck with it. You work out hard at anything, bro. You in a sense get it. So
that's a fact.
Hell yeah.
Was it hard transitioning?
Yeah, man, at times, but you know, if like I said, when you keep at something and keep doing it and keep, you know what I'm saying, keep working at it, eventually you're gonna get it, and that kind of with me. Like a lot of people, you know, thought I was gonna go left or, you know, get back in the streets or, you know what I'm saying, after, because when I left, you know, I was that nigga out here, you know what I'm saying, in a sense. So. You know what I'm saying? I was EB in the, you know, how y'all people look at me in the rap world, I was that in the street world. So for me, giving away that whole image and all that, you know, trying something new, different, you know, change and all that, not knowing how the people gonna accept it, how the people gonna accept me, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was definitely hard in that sense, but it was the best thing I did, man.
Did you ever have a point during those 11 and a half years where you felt like you were losing yourself?
Yeah, probably more so in the beginning when I lost my father. You know, I was in the box, you know, for the first 3 years of my, you know, me being in jail, you know, because they had me and the other two guys that was on the murder charges in our case, like kind of high classification. So anywhere we went, we kind of was locked in with 24 hours a day, you know what I'm saying? It may get you a little hour if you want to come out 4 in the morning, but, you know, nigga ain't really doing that. But, you know, sometimes I can be in the jail, I can skate through. You know, I do, but for the most part, you know, they had us locked in. So being locked in, you know, losing my woman at the time, you know, walking away, and then, you know, my father, you know, sick on me and, you know, cancer at 45 years old, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And dealing with facing life at the same time. So, and only 19 years old, you know, 20 years old kid. So
yeah,
I had a lot on my shoulders, bro. And
that ain't even nothing. A motherfucker be like, oh yeah, I can relate. Like that ain't no relatable shit.
Yeah, it's a little different, man.
I can only imagine what your mind state was like in there.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Shit crazy. What did all that time teach you about loyalty and the people around you?
It showed me a lot, and not necessarily with the guys that, you know, that was my co-defendants, more so than the niggas that was out in the real world, you know, the ones that ain't check on my mother, the one that ain't check for me or write me a letter to see how I was doing, or, you know what I'm saying, knowing what I was dealing with. You know, that's the shit that it really taught me. And, you know, it's a sense of, you know, fast forward to current events. Lil Durk, what he going through now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it hit me. I never comment on really nothing, bro. And it hit me a little different because I feel for the man getting on the stand telling the man, this man gave me this and he's there for me the whole time. And he gave me $50,000 when I came home just fine. And you do that.
No, that's
like,
the worst type of betrayal, bro.
No loyalty in this shit, bro. You feel me? Nothing for real.
Yeah, that's why you gotta move militant out this bitch. All right, bro, let's talk about you coming home. After 11 and a half years, what do you remember most about the first day home?
I remember my mom and one of my little friends, girls at the time, you know, they pulled up. Oh, my man Rel moms too. My man, my co-defendant, my godmom Jackie, they all pulled up on me. I was in Pennsylvania. You know, I came home at the bus station, and, you know, they came and picked me up in the car, and it was like, yeah, I remember putting on them clothes for the first time, and it's like, you know, getting out of that khaki suit, was on some real jeans, a hoodie, some Timbs. You know what I'm saying?
I know that was a good feeling.
It was a feeling that you can't even describe it for real, bro. And it's like you have to go through it to understand. But it was the best feeling in the world, like I said, other than, you know, seeing my baby. But
that's a fact.
It ain't nothing I want to relive though.
Right. You cried and shit, brody? Happy as shit?
Yeah, I definitely had some happy tears, man. You know what I'm saying? But
it's only right.
Close that chapter of my life, man. So.
Definitely. Yeah, gotta move forward. Fuck that. Ain't nobody trying to relive that shit. Well, shit, what was the biggest adjustment after being away from the world for that long?
shit, being able to, first, before I left, I never had a job before, you know what I'm saying? When it got things in order, license and, doing shit that, grown adults, supposed to be doing in the real world. And I was, it ain't that it was hard, it was just the transition of it was like, damn, it's a different life. And then you gotta understand, when I came home, I really went straight to Charlotte when I was at F5 for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went out there, got myself together and, I kind of made a name for myself first, established there, and, came back to Syracuse. So that's kind of how that was, yeah.
So you moved to Charlotte not long after coming home, like you just said. What made you feel like you needed a fresh start outside of Syracuse?
I didn't want to come back, after leaving for so long, come back to the same thing, same vibe, same energy. So I wanted to give myself, and I wanted to do music, and I wanted to give myself a real chance where I'm gonna be judged, according to, my talent and not who I think I am. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I wanted to feel at first. You know what I'm saying? And I felt that, and that's what that was. And I'm glad. I love Charlotte. Yeah. Hey, you got a lighter, bro? Little bro?
That's what's up, Brody. When you came home in 2020, how did music become the next move for you? Like, what transpired? What happened that you said, you know what? I'm gonna take this music shit and I'm really gonna go.
So this how people around me knew that I was serious. I went. So when I got on, you gotta go to the halfway house.
Yeah.
So when you're in the halfway house, you might get your little passes, your little hygiene passes, whatever you for a little couple hours a day. The majority of when niggas get out the halfway house, what they doing? What they doing hours? They going to fuck. They going to see me, I was going to the studio. I ain't get pussy for like 2-3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? I was using my time going to the studio, getting the cameraman, getting footage, and trying to perfect my craft, the sound, seeing what studio's gonna sound better, for my voice, and trying to. And that's kind of the hard work people saw. So like, oh, EB may be serious with this. And then the work ethic, the songs, the quality of songs, quality of videos, the quantity as well. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of just kept at it like that and kept going. I stayed away from the street shit. I'm always around my niggas. I love my niggas. This is where I'm from. This is what bred me. You know what I'm saying? I got to come back here to even be able to talk some shit out y'all here for me. So, hell yeah.
That's what's up, Brody. That's what's up, man. Listen, Brody, let's talk about the music now. The All We Pay remix with the Kids was one of your first viral moments. How did that whole idea come about?
So I was with my man. I had got with some managers. One of them from they from the city, but they was living out in Binghamton. Focus, and my boy Praise, who passed away. Okay. God rest his soul, man. My dog, one of my best friends. Long story short, I had got with them, and they had a cameraman to do named Nico from out Binghamton. They're like, yo, he sent me the track. I think you'll sound good on this. You need to do this. Right before that, I think I had dropped my mixtape. You know what I'm saying? They was fucking with it. And I'm like, I bet. He sent me the track. That's the first time I heard it, the 42 Dugg song. And I'm like, yo, I cut it off midway through the song. I said, nah, just let me hear the instrumental. I don't even want to hear what they're saying.
Right.
And, I made it right there, right on the spot, right in the back of the car, he'll tell you. And we went straight I went to the studio, recorded the shit. He set it up, came out. I had him in the projects back there, you know what I'm saying, the other side in the hood. Mm-hmm. And all the little kids came out. And that was natural. It was organic. It wasn't nothing that I told them to come. Nah, they would just heard the song, seen the vibe. And they just came and started, what's the name, and then went from there.
That'd be the best when shit just flow naturally. That should be the best, man. Okay, so then you had the Shake Something challenge and the What If challenge.
Yeah.
When did you realize the music was really starting to move?
Probably the first What If. Even though it was controversial and I was more so, in my feelings coming home and mentioning niggas, doing certain shit and all that. You feel me? But that was kind of like the moment I seen like people paying attention to me. Mm-hmm. I'm getting hundreds of thousands of views and shit now. It ain't a little 5 or 10, it's 100. So I'm like, oh shit, people starting to pay attention to me. So now
you was talking that pain on that shit.
I was talking. I was being honest. How I felt. Like a lot of shit I wish I said to niggas, face to face. I said what I said, and that was what it was. But I moved on from that. I grew from that. You know what I'm saying? And, that was that. But hell yeah, the first What If, I definitely got to say, gave me the momentum to, to kind of really, We Paid was definitely, that was, We Paid was after actually.
Yeah.
But, after We Paid, it was more like, we out of here.
I ain't gonna lie, I was just listening to shit when on my way here and shit, and I was looking at the dates and shit,
That was 6 years ago, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. You've been able to get the city talking when you drop. What do you think that people connect with when they hear EB?
So, like I told you a little earlier, like, it hit like a person, a rapper can say some cute shit all day. He could be nice as you think he is lyrically, whatever. But it's a difference when you feel a motherfucker.
That's a fact.
It's a difference when you can close your eyes and you believe every word that person's saying, because all that shit real, bro. I pour my emotions, my heart out in my music. That's the only way I get to vent for real.
Oh, that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So
you can tell.
That's what it separate me honestly from, and I can rap. You put me in a cypher beating with anybody, like I tear a nigga up for real.
I ain't gonna lie. Speaking of which too, and it's not really hard to dispute that, or I mean, it's hard to dispute that because. It's motherfuckers online right now that's telling jail stories and all that shit. I think I sent you a clip one time.
Yeah, I ain't even know that was there. I wasn't tagged or nothing. You sent it to me. I'm like, oh shit.
It's this famous guy online that he be telling jail stories and shit like that. And one of the stories he ended up mentioning EB and how he was
almost 2,000 people in that yard. It's rappers. Imagine the jail. Rappers everywhere. And I stood out. You know what I'm saying? So I carried it from there to there. Just perfecting it and. Keep working at what I'm doing. So, I'm ready for, ready for this shit out here.
Hell yeah. When the people have that conversation about the best artists coming out of Syracuse, where do you feel your name belongs?
I'm top dog for real, bro. And it ain't even on no. Let's look at the metrics.
No, I mean you
got niggas like that been rapping 20 plus years, right? I've been gone, bro. I was gone the whole time, right? You got people rapping that time and before that. I was really in the street. When I was, out here running around, I wasn't a rap, I was in the streets. You know what I'm saying? They would rap a lot of, you know what I'm saying? So it's a difference between, even with that, you know what I'm saying? So even with me coming home and look at the quality of the video, look at the quality of songs, look at the body of work, look at the tours with Benny the Butcher. I didn't pay a dime, bro. That's a $20,000, $30,000 tour you got to pay to get on. I got real relationships with my bros. I talk to them every day. You get this through hard work and through, you know what I'm saying, and through the talent. But my point I'm making is, you go on YouTube and go on they Apple Music and Uline. I probably got more songs than these niggas really, you know what I'm saying. And that aspect of the where it matters. I'm not talking about these street mixtapes where your people gonna hear. I'm talking about where the world can Google you and go check your music out.
Numbers don't lie.
It's in the numbers, bro. I got millions of streams and views, bro. Millions. And you know what I'm saying? I'm all organic, you know what I'm saying, through hard work. So I mean, how can't you not have 3 viral challenges? I got songs that the city can sing word for word, bro. Not one, not two, not several songs. You know what I'm saying? I made anthems, I made things for the kids. I went with the females, I got a banger in. Turned up club songs, I got a banger in, story to anywhere you went, I did it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to respect that. And I think because I don't necessarily say it, but you know what I'm saying? But you got to put me in the top of anything you say. Respectfully.
That's a fact, man. Talk your shit, bro. All right, look. At one point, you're doing 11 and a half years. And a few years later, you're on a world tour with Benny the Butcher. Have you ever really stopped and thought about how crazy that transition is?
Hell yeah, I did it actually on stage, bro. I was in Santa Ana, California, and LA tours. And it was probably 1,000 people there, and more than that probably, I don't know, and I'm taking it all in, and it's not even me performing at this time. It's me, I'm on stage with Ben, but I'm always off to the side, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And more so, I like to just soak it all in. I study it at the same time. And and even the conversations I done had with Big Bro, he always said, yo, you remind me of me, your grind, your dedication, your hard work. How can you not root for a nigga like you?
Fact.
You know what I'm saying? So, I remember one day I took it in and we was in Santa Ana, and I'm just looking, and I looked up and had damn near tears in my eyes, bro. Cause it's like, I went from, remember being in the cell, looking out a little window and, at nothing but, gates and fences and shit, and thinking I'm gonna spend the rest of my life here to, and actually listening to this nigga, and now being, on a world tour with him, and, and being able to chop it up with him and get the game and get the experience. So that was a moment like that in my life was crazy.
Really, man, that's a crazy full circle moment.
Hell yeah.
Shit. How did you and Benny first connect, and what made the relationship turn into something bigger musically?
So I had met Benny on an accident. I was called to go to a showcase. People hit me up. Kamar Boatman, he was one of them, and Jay. They had hit me up. Shout out to
bro.
Yeah, they had hit me up and said they got Benny the Butcher at a showcase at a little dispensary. It wasn't no showcase. He was just pretty much coming through, whatever it be. long story short, I'm doing a whole nother thing. I'm actually on my way to the studio on the highway to go shoot like a music video at the studio where I paid the money and everything. And bro, he was telling me like, yo, sometimes opportunities only, you know what I'm saying, only come one. And I get it, and I understand. I'm actually trying to make the music to get there. All I say to me, I just need them to hear me. I just need to get in front of you. I just need you to hear me. And so what better, I got a direct route. So what I did, man, I turned around. First I told him I ain't gonna be able to make it. Then I turned around, I thought about it. I pulled up there. I go in there, man. They had me perform. I go crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's the first time I performed What If 2. You know what I'm saying? I go crazy. I go to VIP with Benny. We take pictures. We start talking. And he actually knew who I was, not per se, but, people out in Buffalo had did my challenge. You know what I'm saying? So he had,
that's what's up.
Who was through that. And before you know it, he watching my videos on the screen, and I got a big screen in
and we only humans. I know that nigga probably searched you up and said, like, hold on, going on, bro? They going crazy, everybody doing this challenge.
He like, yo, look, I'm going to leave. We chop it up. I'm going to leave. Long story short, he like, yo, we get on the Sprinter van. I'm going to my car. He opened the door. He like, yo, I'll be in Allenwood, PA tomorrow. If you can get there, pull up. You feel me? I drove 4 hours by myself. You know what I'm saying? He showed
shot right out there.
And then from there, man, it's been love. Inviting me on the rest of the tour, man. I finished the tour out with him. And like I said, now I'm like my brothers, bro. I speak to them every day. They show up at my event. They came to all of them was at the Jadakiss concert.
Oh, what?
You know what I mean? Yeah, most of them all put up. Rick High, Hezzy, City Boy, all of them put up. So, you know what I'm saying? And then we're supposed to pull up to the Versus shit, which we'll get in, and hopefully everything's still good with that. If not, we got a sooner date coming soon. So
right.
It's gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen.
Now that it's kind of been pushed back, shit, people got time now to motherfuckers can't have no excuses now.
We ain't ducking this, y'all. It's gonna happen, man. I need to once and for all, let it know what it is. So
that's a fact. Shout out to Benny too, man. Benny the Butcher.
Shout out,
y'all go
bro.
tap in and lock in with bro,
definitely
man.
a dope nigga, man.
Yeah.
But
now you have Benny producing your upcoming album with BSF involved. What kind of record are you trying to make with this one?
So basically, what he told me in a nutshell, he said, "Yo, I don't want to change your sound. I just want to come in and make what you do better on a higher level." You know what I'm saying? So you will probably rarely hear me on like a BSF beat. I could do anything, to be honest with you, but
right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a pretty much get the best producers at what I do, the best sound, the best everything. So and then just with Big Bro influence, man, even doing the track with Big Bro and like being able to get that experience and do promo tours and and
that's
do
huge.
that. So it's gonna be big, man. I promise you, it's definitely gonna be big, bro. It's gonna be big. I'm predicting the #1 album. Watch. Remember I told you that.
Talk that shit.
Remember I told you that, bro.
You already know, bro. When you get done with all that shit, come tap in with me one more time, man. So we can talk about all that shit. All right, let's talk about fatherhood and growth real quick. You recently became a father for the first time with your daughter Dream. What has she brought out of you that wasn't there before?
Just my, honestly speaking, just my level of respect for women. You know what I'm saying? Like I look at, my little girl, bro. It's just, I ain't even know I could be that soft. I'm so trying to, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm life, hard in me. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully, so. But she bring a side out of me, bro. I'll be watching and singing the little songs on TV with her, and you know what I'm saying. Her first word being "dada," and like just that whole experience of being a young kid going to jail at night, a young 19 teenager, and never think I ever experienced fatherhood, cause thinking the rest of my life might be over. You know what I'm saying? In the prison. So now having that, this dream come true, bro. It's the best thing in the world. So everything in my life is just soft. My respect level for women, for people, period. You know what I'm saying? So it's different, and that's why you always see my little baby Gray. We're with me, bro. So.
Yeah, that's a fact. Definitely be seeing her with you. When Dream get older and learns everything her father survived, what do you hope she takes from your story?
That her father was a fighter, man. That he never gave up, and that he was a person that said that he was gonna do something and did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really followed my dreams. I really chased my dreams. I really achieved it. And you know what I'm saying? I think my baby girl will understand, the type of guy she got as a dad, you know what I'm saying, as a role model, growing up. So, that's something to take away now. She didn't know her dad is just, a fighter. Her dad, he's definitely strong.
That's what's up. That's dope, Brody. When you really look at your life, the break, sports, surviving 4 shootings, losing people you love, doing 11 and a half years, coming home and rebuilding, touring with Benny, and now becoming a father, what does Eat Beat want the next chapter of his story to look like?
I just want like to change lives, man. Like whether it's with these kids, you know, seeing my story, hearing my story, and they getting the motivation from that to, you know, to try something different on a positive note and become who they really feel like they want to be. Because the thing is, like, a lot of kids go, it was cool, and I know I did. At that time, I felt like the streets was cool, and that's what I wanted to do. So if I can just convince you that, you know, going to school or following your dreams or doing what you need to be doing in life, man, is cool other than the streets, and, you know, that's what it, you know, I want my legacy to be. And you know, music-wise, I want to be big, bro. I want to be a household name. I want to be, you know, have a legacy in that shit. So that's what I want to leave, bro.
That's what's up, Brody. All right, gang. Last question. A lot of people chase views, likes, and things of that nature. But what does being valid really mean to you?
Being valid? Being valid is being yourself, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Being organic, being original, being who you are. And no matter what comes with that, you accept it, and, you know, that's what it is.
That's a fact, man. I appreciate
definitely.
that. Brody, thank you for sitting down with the kid.
Yeah.
Thank you for allowing me in your neck of the wood. You know what I'm saying?
I had to bring you in the projects. I told you, man. The only way I could have do this if I bring you back to where it started. But now I appreciate you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Your podcast, everything you're doing is dope. I'm paying attention. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was able to do this interview with you, man.
That's
I fuck
fact,
with what
man.
you got going on.
Thank you,
yeah,
Brody.
man. We here, EB100, man. Y'all go follow me, man. I'm everywhere. You know, EB100 Mafia, Instagram, EB100, all my Apple services, and, you know, Spotify, everything. So y'all tap in. New music on the way. Y'all, you know, y'all tune in, man.
You already know, man. It's your boy Boogie Valley, and this Valley TV, man. Bow, bow, bow.